what we're trying to do, basically, the system I showed you is to control the blind side. You can control the blind side on the outside, control the blind side on the inside. I'll run through with you. And before we go into the strategy, the tactics, and so on, I want to run through three things with you. Right? The most important attribute for winning is, firstly, the heart. You have to keep calm, because when your heart rate, if your heart rate go up to 115, you start to lose your finer skill motor. So that means all the fingers and all the coordination, the eye coordination, that kind of issues. And you would start losing the finer skill motor. When it goes up to 145, you would lose the complex skill motor. Then in your heart rate go up to 170, you would have lost all your finer skill and complex skill motor, only gross skill motor. You're good at picking up a pickup truck or carry a refrigerator down the stairs, or So, and we will also look at how to control your heart, how to control your heart rate, and also we will also look at how to choose techniques that are favoring gross skill motor. Okay. The second thing is you have to know how to use the eyes, where to look, and how to train your eyes. And the third thing is balance. So it's heart, eye, and balance. Then we're talking about what system you're doing, what strategy you're using. So the system we're using is BOEC, balance opening, elbow, arms cross. You fire on the blind side. So assume that you have made contact, you want to control. Control is not control continuously. It's control for the split second. So you control the elbow, line up your center, parallel to the shoulder, so you're on the blind side. If you're on the inside of the arm, same thing. You just get away from this arm, line up your center, so you can control the blind side. Right? Later on, we will apply this system, this strategy, into multiple opponents, and we will apply it into dealing with people with weapons and so on. So, firstly, want to get you to use two arms at the same time, right? So you have to have an index. That means a certain movement that you do, certain movement you do, that you strike this way, and certain movement you do, you strike the other way. So I just want to run through some very simple things. So if you do a park cell check, and you punch, it's on top of the palm, and it's going in the center here. So if you throw a punch, punch. But you do a lap cell check, a punch is going to the side, right? So you go park cell check and lap cell check, park cell check, lap cell check. So shall we line up here and we'll just practice this before we put on the football? See, park cell, punch, right? Park cell, punch. So the target is already there. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2. So 1, 2. Okay. 1, 2. So here. All right. So let's head up and let's do this, and then we move on to how to apply in real situation. Okay, now how to proceed, right? And then you got a stride, and then you got the vital target here, right? So you got here, 2, right? So it is 1, 2, just a little sweep, and then you got the vital target. 1, 2. So if you want to restrain this person, right? So you got from here, 1, 2, right? So you want to restrain this person, then you got, so you got this arm here, right? 1, 2, and then you turn it, right? So you got this, and you got this lock, the arm lock. Pressure here, right? Okay. 1, 2. All right. So if you were a law enforcing officer and you were coupled, then you couple, right? And you want to take this guy out to a specific area, right? Okay. So here, 1, 2. Here, you're coming in here, so then you take this arm, you come back to the front here, right? So you take this arm on the wrists, on the fingers, right? So you got 2 here, wrist lock, a reverse wrist lock, then you hold this hand here, trim this, and come back to the front. And then if you put pressure, you nail him down, that's because the pain, so you can actually take it down. So, yeah, it's when you put pressure along this line. So deep, turning in towards the center. So you can use 1 finger. So make sure you have, if you hurt you too much, you have tell your partner to stop, tell your partner to stop, and then you relax it. So for 2 punches, right? For 2 punches, get 1 punch, right? 1, 2, you take this. Arm break, right? Wrist lock, right? So this wrist lock will go straight down. Okay. So here, 1, 2, arm break and wrist lock. Right? Okay. So normal speed, 1, 2, right? Arm break and wrist lock. So you just drop it. But you don't do that. 1, 2, arm break. Remember the other one was reverse wrist lock. This one is wrist lock. Take him down. But we don't want to do that, but I just want to show you. You side, and that arm is there. Here, to the side, but to the back. So you pull down the knee, this will come up here, elbow. All right, so let's don't put people on the ground. But this is try to do straight. And then we'll move on. All right. One, two, arm break. So before we go over here, but we can also go here. Right? So if you go over here, you have a problem, and you come back, and then you go here. Right? So you go 1, 2, arm break here, right? And then you go here. All right, so you can go on the time. Or come from here, then you can put it down. Right? And then the other one is this one I'm saying this one. Right? Yeah. And you can come back. And then so in the afternoon, we're going to run some dealing with the weapons, how do we do it multiple. We will run some techniques that for tournaments, full contact sparring tournaments. All right. So we break for an hour. We'll come back to it. Okay. Thank you.
You review the techniques started with earlier, okay? Okay, warm up a little bit, you guys need to move around a little slow, some balance comes back, you can jump right in, okay? So grab a
this weapon, right? And we strike, and then we hit, right? And then this thing is still there, right? I don't need to disarm him. I just knock him out, right? Because the person will be so much involved in trying to get in his weapon, he had no defense. Would be no defense, right? Because in the shooting gallery, in the training, they don't teach you. They don't teach you how to deal with the situation. Okay, so we only have one gun, but assume this is your gun, right? So we'll run through the scenario, and then I'll run through some of the things that they might do, and I'll run through how, if you have a weapon, how do you protect yourself, and how do you get your weapon out? All right. So let's run this one first. So your thing is right? 1, 2, 3. Right. So from here, right? From here. So you take it, and then you can use it, right? So even though you draw out, you're no longer in the line. From here, right? Okay. So let's start. The FBI in the study called the RAIN study that they published in 1997. They studied 4,000 law enforcement officers. I'm talking about professional, well-trained. 4,000 shootouts. Most 90% of the shootouts is within 12 feet. Right, within 12 feet. And the hit and miss rate is 25% to 75%. That means every 6 bullets, they only hit 1.5. Every 4 times they shoot, they only hit once. Right? So they thought, that might be their shooting skill. So they took them back to the, in those 2 years, and then they recollect the statistics. No difference. So it's here, right? So when the heart rate goes up, adrenal, hormonal induced heart rate goes up. And also the finer skill, also the complex skill. So, the chance that, even though he can get out, the chance that he's hitting you is 1 in 4. Okay. So, but because you can do it without the holster, without the proper thing, that, it's so easy to get it out. But with that, they time it, it's 0.14 per second. 0.14, 0.15 per second. No, 1.4 and 1.5 per second to present the gun to shoot. Right. Okay. So in 0.5 per second, you can reach easily 10 feet. Right, easily 10 feet. Okay. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you, right? So, okay. So even that you were pointed with a gun, not necessary that that's the end of the situation. That you can still do something, because this thing is by he has to aim. And also it will take him 0.2 of a second to see and react. 0.2 of a second. Right. So this pointing is right. Even though he's seeing me moving, because I already there. 0.2 a second. For here, see, and want to shoot you. Unless he already decided to shoot you. Then it's not. Can you understand? Can you understand? For the eye, see and react is 0.2 of a second. Right? So even he's pointing at you. Right? All he has to do is just do that. But the decision for him to do that, it will take at least 0.2 or 0.25 of a second. Right? So for me to move from here to there, right, is 0.1 of a second. 0.11, 0.12 of a second. For me, from here to here, from here to here, 0.11 of a second. Right? So without this, right, without this, because we don't want this flying all over the place. So he's there. He's there. Okay? He's there. So you want it here, and then you take him down. Right? And then, right? So I'm not teaching you how to commit suicide. I'm just saying. If you're going to shoot you, whether you're going to charge him, take his gun or not, he's going to shoot you anyway, isn't it? Right. But if you make the first move for him to react, your move will be faster than his reaction, and you have a chance. You just balance it out, right? For him to see and react is 0.2 of a second. For you to reach out, do that. Reach out, so you deflect the barrel, right? And then do that. Just reach out, deflect the barrel. It's 0.11, 0.12 of a second. So you have a very good chance, right? Provided you keep calm, you know exactly what you're doing. Right? So let's run through this. Okay. Okay, so it's here, right? So it's same thing, right? So you want You want to pin him down, right? So away from the, so but see, I put my knee away from his elbow. Yeah, usually the knee on. So you want to pin him down. So you go slowly, right? So push, right here, to here, and then pull, right? And then you pin him down, right? This person will need more meat. Okay. So because the decision process that would take 0.25, 0.2 to 0.25 a second for him to make the decision to pull the trigger. Right? So for me to do that, it would take 0.13, 0.14 per second. You do it right. So what you do is, you do that, right? Then you do this, then you take this, and then you, right? So you disarm from this. So you do a wrist lock, elbow lock, straight arm, right? All right? So do it slowly first. And so from here, out of the way, catch here, or you can do it together, and then from here, you pull him slightly or bounce, right? Right, and then you take this, push him down. Okay. Let's try it. Much to worry about, right? Okay. Now, the critical point is, right? So you're here, right? So get yourself balanced. Probably take a deep breath before you do that, right? So you go from here, right? Now, then you pull him slightly, right? Straight arms, yeah? Straight arms, slightly out of his balance, right? Then you take this, right? So at all time, this hand is not pointing towards you. So you turn the and you go behind it. All right? You understand? So you're going to keep that. Right? Straight arm, right? Because otherwise you're getting too close here, right? Pull slightly out, and you take this one, and then, right? So this knee was supposed to be here. Do it slowly first. If you try to do it slowly, you won't be doing fast. So you mark out all the critical points. It's in the transition that if my leg moves, then the barrel will be pointing at So come from behind, right? Come from behind. So it's better that you feel it, right? So you know where it is. So you turn, see, elbow, take this. Right, so you kneel the so from here, elbow is here, up high, so it's not up high, right? Take it down, right, and then you might have to break that out. So you do one time you have control, right? Here, and then you got up high, then sweep across, take him down, and then, right? Some of these young people that you must bend your knee, right? Because you're dealing with people on the floor. You cannot do like you're watering the plant. Okay. So from here, right? Here. So I should have let him swing, but. You have to control it, go straight in right? So you basically, so you have more control of this. But if your elbow make contact here, and you don't have much control, and then you have to go and find this here. So it's better elbow contact. So you're here, right? So if you turn the inside, right, you have to be here. Then you go back to here, then you come back. Okay, right? If you turn the inside, you back to, right? You turn, right, here, overhead, then you're back to you back to that. You understand? Yes. So you turn this side. We have some postcards with $5 each, and then the cream, they're much larger cream now, 30% bigger, and it's $40 a bottle. And also I have some dress shirt, some silk jersey. You want that? Okay. So if you want to take some photo too, I'll put it around. You learn hand-to-hand comeback. It's so good in the training hall, but when you go out, people are going to pick on you, about 3 or 4 of them, and you have to know how to deal with them. And firstly, the strategy I show you is you fight on the blind side, but you don't fight on the blind side in the middle here. See, if I'm fighting him here, you'll get it. All right? So you don't fight from the side here. Okay. So what do? You go here. So he's blocking him. Right? I mean, ideally. So we're going to run through some scenarios that he's walking towards you, and then you know because you have chains here, you don't go rolling. You're in trouble, right? So you're walking towards you, and then you from here. Then you only have to deal with one at a time, because you can only do one thing at a time anyway. Right? So you either go to the extreme on the outside or extreme on the inside. Now I'm going to give you a few pressure points. There are pressure points on the side of the neck here, right? And then underneath the jaw. And then you have the face, that which is always the good target, the eye, soft tissue. You only have to touch it, that will cause a lot of discomfort. And the pressure point behind the stem of the scalp here. Right. So you can strike those with palm. You can strike, yeah. So when you say if you do a side palm, it's better to, this is called satchel, right? It's better to strike to the face where the eye is than trying to hit him on the neck, because he's going to touch his ear and his shoulder is in the way, right? So you boom. You get away from his shoulder, and then you hit on the back here. Right. So if you did that, hit him across the bridge of the nose, and hit him on the back here, he's still kicking, you better run. Because normally 30 pounds of force will knock somebody out. 30 pounds. So you either doing something wrong or he's superhuman. So you better run. So he's coming in, right? You come here, see? So you cannot get to me. So you only have to deal with one person. And you cover that knee, elbow, when he's coming in, you cover that knee, elbow, then you only have to deal with one head. All right? So we're going to just run through a few scenarios. All right? So say if you go up, so if you go up talk to this guy, they're going to circle you, and you need a lot of so with the same principle that you go up, say if I'm going to go up and talk to you guys, and I will position myself over here. I'll position myself. You go up with your arm, oh, many times bigger. So get your arms in the center. You cannot go up like that. So get your arms in the center, you still got the center. So you get some in the center. So you cover this arm. So you talk to me. I know they don't like that. So they make the move, and then you're going to feel this one. And you do it. But basically, you know you're not going to go out here. And you're in trouble. All right. So you go up. So you have 3 people. You go up. And then you only cover this elbow. That you only have to watch the other one. And you watch the other one. So you still going to put points. Here, 3 points. Here, 3 points. Same thing. Do this guy. Same thing. Same thing. Yeah. If something works, don't change it. So you go up, cover this elbow, so you neutralize this arm. You cover this elbow. So you have to swing it from here. Put this back. And then you have to take the time to catch it. Alright? So that's how you position yourself. Alright. So let's make 3 or 4 or 5 in a group. Everybody got to keep my arm, please. Okay. Now, say with a pole or baseball bat or something like that. See the best chance. There's best chance and there's worst chance, you know. If you look at, say, if you come in and hit you, so probably the best chance to get in is before you even swing, making that preparation. So from here, oops, sorry, that's it. Right? And you knock him out from here, right? And then you don't know what's like being hit by one. All right? So probably second best chance is you jam him up here, then you take this off here. Right? But once he starts swinging up to about here, there's very little angle to work on because you have to block here and he's going to come down, you're going to come in the hole. Right? So basically, as soon as you pick it up, you jam him up, you hit the eye, and you kill him. Right? On the windpipe. Because that, 25 pounds, 30 pounds, you break his windpipe, can't breathe. So there's the best chance that you would do this From here, as soon as you jab him up here, hit, right, jab him up, double. All right?
Yes, sir.
So you, this is stick there. Oh, we got enough. Yeah. So we just do this one. Yeah.
So the elbow about right pushing the layer into
Okay.
when you cover his elbow.
Okay, just jab it. Boom, boom. Yeah, just cover it.
All right.
Hold on.
Thank you, sir.
I want to run through some sparring on so we're not going to have anybody out in the middle. So we can bring some chairs and we just sort of make a semicircle or something, and just have enough room here. And also I can have a little chair. With cable TV and exposure, then it will not survive. And then we'll be just teaching in the garage and the stand-up will be full. So we're trying to, on my, not the next immediate trip, I'm going to go to China twice in the next 2 months. So we're going to have a meeting, a conference with 73 countries and trying to get you throw circuit, so you pull it down, your block is not just a block, it's a block. So what you want is pull it down to control it. Same thing with the round thing. Pull it down, bring it down. Attack it from above. You understand what I'm saying? And also you must face the point of contact. You must face the point of contact. So you attack you neutralize that leg, neutralize that kick, as well as you attack his balance. And when you attack his balance, you create a lot of opening. All right? Rather than he throws the kick, you just block. It doesn't do enough.
The problem I noticed is a lot of times when they're bouncing around and then shooting straight up the path, but you can't tell if they're on top of the ball. That's what I got down with.
Yeah, because you're giving it too much room.
Okay.
Giving it too much
Yeah, I had
room.
no control of this ball.
Yeah, you have to see. Firstly, let me give you something to think about. Firstly, for very good martial artists, see and react is 0.2 to 0.3 of a second. All right. And if you can get down to 0.19, it's very, very good. You're almost at square speed. All right. For somebody to punch you, it's 0.11 per second. Punch is 0.11 per second. All right. So if you're standing there waiting for him to hit you so you can react, eventually he'll get you. Right? So that's why it's better to attack. It's better to attack than waiting for him to do something. right? And also positioning too. That, so it's better. Say you are here, right? If you're here, you know he's going to hit you with this leg. It's better for you to look at that leg than you are looking on the side of your head. Yeah. So a lot of position, but it's better that to attack. Right? And also a lot of times that if you attack somebody, he's going back. If you don't stick to him close enough, he'll kick you. And you know. Right? So that's why you wasn't prepared. You know, and also please say your distance. Right? So to get this, right? So I will do something like this. Right? So if you do a kick this way, right? and then you do a kick like this kick back and forth. Yeah. So let's pair and okay. We'll do a few times, and then we will run in here again. So you just pull it down. That's it. Straight arm, just pull it down. Straight arm, right? You must get on top of that leg. Don't let that leg get on top of you. Then you are against where it is. All right. Because firstly, you have to know the sequence, right? You're right, because separation is very important, right? Because he's going to knock your block off. He's going to kill you. So it's very scary. But worry about it's not going to make things any better, all right? So just take a deep breath, just be calm, and remember what you have to do, right? Just pretend it is a tennis game, right? You have to judge where the ball is, so that you can hit the ball to where it's caught, where you start the court before you hit it. So we're talking about sequence. You cannot look at where you're going to hit it to find it. You're going to miss the ball, right? It's like somebody pass a basketball to you. You have to know where the ball is, then you pass it on to somebody. Right? So assume that in here, it's like basketball, right? So you catch it, and then you catch this, and then you go on to the attack. Right? So he hopes, right? Same thing. Your eyes have to be there. If your eyes are not there, how are you going to block it? If you don't see it, you're going to hit you. Right? It's going to hit you. So you prepare to be hit. Right? So let's go back out there. Make yourself see it first. You understand what I'm trying to say? If you cannot see the kicks coming. Right? You cannot see that knee moving, and it's going to hit you because you don't know where it is. You haven't seen it, right? All right. So you have to get that sequence, the visual sequence that working for you. Right? So if you're going to block, you face that, pull it down, and then you look, your eye, before you punch, you're going to look where you're going to hit. Right? That's very important. But first, you have to find where the leg is first. But you're standing there, you're going to hit you. Don't turn with the front foot, always turn with the back foot. Right? Turn to the right, move your back, move your left foot, turn to the right, turn to the right. Turn to the left, move your right. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. And then you pull it down, and then Because you're attacking its balance when you pull it down. So you can. All right. Yes. But if you don't know where the kick's coming, then because you're probably standing in the wrong position, or you're not watching what you're supposed to be watching, which is the knee. All right. Move your arm out. You present two sides. One is an open side, which probably occupies 70% of the, where you're facing, and the other one is the blind side. So you would want to prefer, you don't have to think it very much from the blind side. So anything that comes from the open side, you just pull it down, and then, pull it down. So move your back foot a little bit, you have to turn, and then you pin down your elbow. Anything that comes from the blind side, right? So you just so this is your kick. So you go from here, this is your kick. Just pull it down. You just turn that little bit, pull it down, then you kick. Yep. All right, so let's try. I mean, if you say, okay, if you miss 10, I show you, you pick up 2, you're 20% back, right? Just in just a short time. Do you understand? Right? So, I mean, a lot of things that by experience that you know that as soon as you move this way, you will expect something comes along. Okay. And another thing is that a lot of times, so if he throws a kick, right? I just take out the distance because hit and miss is about 6 inches. And then when I catch him off balance, can you understand? You don't even need to go. Or a lot of times that if you steer, you kick, then you just
what if they do that kick, but they curl your leg under? Yeah.
You talking?
No. I mean,
yeah. Go a little bit.
Yes.
If you would, ask questions.
Yeah, question I have is, sometimes when people we're going hand in hand,
Yeah.
every time you try to go for the blind side, or the side they give you, and you're
Yeah.
trying to fight on the blind side, they keep turning,
Oh, yeah,
like against a
yeah.
boxer.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a good method to maybe fake one way and then go for that
Oh,
blind
yeah,
side?
yeah. You can do this, right? So if he's moving, he knows that I'm going to go here, right? So he's going to keep turning, right? So you're going to go here. So what I do is I go right.
So continually set them up on the other side, go to the side.
Yeah. Right.
And then just take whatever side he gives you.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter that, but you can sort of fake here, right? And you, and also when he's moving, he can't really hurt you. But you just go a little bit deeper, then you catch. Or you can go in like this one. So you just go in, cross it. So you from here.
So if Mr. Clayton, if he stepped forward his left and you went for his right and went to throw, you would just go to the left side then? You know what I'm saying? Come in cross-legged.
Right.
Right. So you just keep going.
Yeah, because
Just control that elbow.
Cover this one from here. I cover on the elbow. You want to try that? You want to try this? Right. Because you cannot keep doing one thing, and he starts waking up to it, right? So he won't give you that distance, right? So you can try to set yourself up on the blind side, parallel leg, right? So you set yourself up. So he moves, then you put him on the back foot, right? You go on cross leg. So you set him up, go on cross leg. So you pick him up from there. Then you go to the blind side, cross leg. All right? Good. So you know you're going to cover the lead elbow. That's once he exposed, that's where you want to go. And if he's exposing, putting his arm down. Yeah. Right. See, because he's setting a trap for you, right? If you hit here, he's going to hit you first. So the elbow is still our priority. So it's still there. So what you do is you just check it. Just go straight to the elbow. Elbow is right there. So that's
Staying strictly on a neutral stance the whole time. You're staying strictly on a neutral stance the whole time. Footwork, square. You're staying on a neutral stance. Once you make your point of contact, you're going right. When you're coming in to get behind him, you're staying neutral. You're just taking steps.
you can have your front stance. You can have your front stance, neutral stance, like the facing. nothing to do with my body. So that's go around. So that's the elbow. This is around. So you have something that works for you, and don't change it, it's repeating. And just, this side, and the system I show you does not just rely on speed or power, but rely on positioning and scientific extract. See, you have to go back if you have trouble with your thinking. You have to go back to the basics. Some things that probably neglected, some raw when you spar, but bad habits. And so much pressure on you. And so you start picking up that simplify things. We come to a conclusion of this seminar. I'm going to give out some certificates. Is anyone that wants to take a photo? It's very useful.